Welcome, everybody. I'm here again today with Josh Ferguson, and we're going to do another safety side chat. We're going to kind of spin it a little bit. By the way, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. In the past, I've interviewed Josh on some subjects or topics, and Josh's idea was that he was going to kind of turn the table on this, and he was going to run this thing and put me on the hot seat. So the seat is yours.
Thanks, Brent, and Happy New Year. All right, so a few conversations ago, you had mentioned that you were part of a national mentorship committee where you kind of connect mentors and mentees. And I was hoping that you can tell us a little bit more about that.
I'd love to. If I'm guessing that most of the people who watch these safety side chats are probably safety professionals. And if you're a safety professional, first off, I would highly encourage all safety professionals to be a member of the American Society of Safety Professionals. It used to be called ASSE, now we're ASSP. And I've been actively involved with ASSP since 1992 when I started in the student section at Central Washington University. And then when I entered the profession, I became a member of the Puget Sound chapter. And I've been pretty active with the chapter for about 20 years in different roles. I've been asked by national, so ASSP is kind of broken into different structures. You have common interest groups, you have practice specialties, and then you have chapters. So I'm a member of the Puget Sound chapter, and given that my specialty is consulting now, I'm a member of the consulting practice specialty or consultants practice specialty. And I was asked a number of years ago whether I would be willing to sit on the steering committee for the practice specialty, which I was honored to be asked to do it, and I decided to jump on it. When I became a member, I was asked by some of the leadership within the group whether I would be willing to join their mentoring committee. And again, I jumped on that opportunity, and with some attrition, I kind of became the mentor committee lead. And what that means is that right now there are two of us active and a new member of the mentoring committee, and mentee applicants and mentor applicants send in applications throughout the year. And every 6 months we review those applications, and then we match a mentee to a mentor based on what they're looking for. So the different mentors, I think we have something like 17 mentors who have volunteered, and they're all members of the practice specialty. So for the most part, they are consultants now. And the mentees who are applying to be mentored are generally looking to get into the consulting practice. They might be working as a safety manager for a company. They might be working for a consulting firm, but they want to branch off on their own. So what we end up doing is mentoring them in all aspects of the process, depending on what they want, how to set a business up, how to secure the proper insurance, how to market their business, how to get clients, kind of soup to nuts, the whole 9 yards. And I find it very satisfying. Not only am I a committee chair, but I'm also a mentor. And right now I'm mentoring 2 mentees. So I love it. And as I've said, I've been a mentee in the past, and it's probably been one of the greatest tools for me in my career over the last 25, 30 years.
Very good. Thank you, Brent. Well, that definitely leads into the next question. So when you're looking for mentees, or when somebody reaches out to ask you to mentor them, what traits do you look for that make a good mentee?
Oh, that's a good question. And I'm glad you asked that, because so often a mentee, now this is formal mentoring. When you ask that question, I'm going to look at it from the perspective of a mentee is actually asking to be formally mentored. A lot of times our mentors professionally just become mentors. It's not an agreed program. It's something less formal than that. But in formal mentoring, I think that there has to be a plan, and we have that plan within the consultant practice specialty, where the mentee fills out an individual development plan, which kind of outlines what they're trying to accomplish. And then we put timelines on it, because goals without dates are just ideas. So really, to get any kind of progress, we have to have some goals and some timelines and some milestones. But the mentee needs to understand that this isn't a situation where they're just coming and asking us questions and we're blessing them with experience. it really comes down to them having to put in the work and to do the things they need to do to be successful. And I have a mentee right now who sent me a great note right after the holidays that some of the things that we've talked about have motivated her to go out, and she just got her first client, which I'm super proud of her. But ultimately, the mentee needs to be able to put in the work. I'm willing to coach, talk to, provide information to anybody who has questions, but to actually mentor somebody who wants to be an actual mentee ongoing, they need to be willing to put in the work. They need to be consistent, and I need to know that they're committed to it.
Excellent. So on the flip side of that, when you match a mentor to a mentee, what do you look for? What traits do you look for in a mentor?
That's a really loaded question. I think, from a simple standpoint, I think the mentor, number one, they can't have anything to gain by mentoring that mentee. This is purely a give. It is not a receive or return type of an activity. Secondly, I think the mentor, it has to be applicable. It has to be somebody who can mentor that mentee in an area where they have expertise, experience, or knowledge. That's really important, because if a mentor is trying to mentor somebody on something that they don't understand or know, they're probably not going to be successful. And then just like the mentee has to be committed, the mentor really has to be committed to the process. They need to show up on time, make the meetings, and they need to hold the mentee accountable the way the mentee is going to hold the mentor accountable.
Okay, very good. Do you have mentors, whether formal or informal?
I had some informal mentors. One really helped me launch my career. Actually, I've had 3 or 4 that I could point to, and they were all informal, but they really actively took me under their wing and gave me advice and challenged me. I've never actually been matched as a mentee formally to anybody, but like I said, I mean, the things I learned from my mentors, and there's still a couple of them who are alive. I lost one who was probably the most influential to colorectal cancer, but one is retired and I still talk to him and go fishing with him. And the other, I don't have a relationship with anymore, but I can tell you that those who have made the greatest impact on my career and helped me get to where I am today were mentors to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brent. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thought would be something we kind of covered in a previous interview, Josh, and that's that I think that everybody, no matter what you do, even if you're a CEO of a company, I was a member of a CEO group for 2 years because I wanted to be pushed and challenged, and I had an accountability partner. An accountability partner is somewhat like a mentor, but slightly different in structure. I think that for anybody to be successful, we have to be curious. We have to be willing to focus on self-awareness and improvement. We have to be able to receive criticism and grow through that. And I think a mentor gives us the ability to do that. So I would highly recommend that everybody have a mentor. And I would also highly recommend from a growth standpoint that everybody mentor somebody. Doesn't matter who it is. And, ideally, somebody you have nothing to gain from, so to speak. And, within, like I mentioned, within a company, if you were to have a mentor, it should be somebody who's not in your department. So if I'm a safety director, I would not want my mentor to be the VP of safety. And ideally, if I was to get a mentor outside of my company, I would probably prefer that person be a senior level executive somewhere, if that makes sense.
That does. Well, thank you, Brent. So the takeaways that I'm taking from this are both sides of the equation must be committed to the process and be respectful of the process and each other's time. A good mentor is several levels above the mentee, where the mentee wants to go. And it's good to have a different perspective, somebody in a different industry, in a different, career path or career line. And the mentee needs to be coachable, they need to be willing to take criticism and learn, and they need to be driven. They need to be willing to put in the work to get there, and curious. That curiosity will keep you going, keep one foot right in front of the other, to discover what's next. Well, thank you, Brent. I really appreciate the time. And as always, it's an honor to serve ISS and the safety community. And I do have the rare privilege to call you an informal mentor and a friend.
And likewise, Josh, I mean that, from the first day we met, I knew how bright you were and how committed and hardworking you are. And it's paid off. Watching your career blossom makes me feel really good. So I look forward to getting together again here soon and doing this again.
All right, Brent.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.